It's the professional MasterChef semi-finals. After intense competition,
absolutely fantastic.
only the 9 most talented chefs remain.
So far, so good.
Now, they will cook off against each other for the first time. And only the best will remain.
Every time you walk into that kitchen, you're expected to perform at your best, and you want to perform at your best.
Very aware that every day is a new day. Every day you can make a mistake, and that never leaves my head.
Being here is outstanding, but the pressure's really heating up now.
We're now getting into the sharp end of the competition.
Our chefs have got to step it up again.
Chefs, welcome back here to the MasterChef kitchen, but more importantly, welcome to the semi-finals. One of you is going to be our professional MasterChef champion.
Now, we want you to cook a dish that is inspired by your favourite food memory. This dish has to tell a story.
At the end of today, we will choose our 4 top chefs, and they will go straight through to the next round. The remaining 5 will have to come back and cook again for their place in the competition. We are going to split you into 2 groups. Blue aprons, you are going to cook first. Red aprons, you're going to have to wait your turn. Thank you.
One hour and 20 minutes. Let's make it count. Off you go.
Private chef Aaron has made it through to the semi-finals by impressing the judges with his classic technique and inventive flavour combinations.
It's nice to know that the food that I am cooking has been reciprocated. The ideas that I'm coming up with are being validated by the judges. It's definitely making me more confident, yeah. So far, who knows? I've been knocked off the perch.
Aaron, that's a serious focus face you've got there, chef, isn't it?
This is food that I grew up eating. Reminds me of home, reminds me of comfort.
Good for you, chef. What's the dish?
So this is roast dinner. So it's going to be suckling pig chops, Savoy cabbage, bacon and garlic, an apple puree, roast potatoes on the side.
This dish is inspired by...
Wednesday roasts round my nan's house.
Is Nan still with us?
She's not.
I'm sorry.
It was an opportunity for the family to get together, and Nan cooked up a big feast for us. That's what got me into cooking. I want to try and get that feeling, bottle it, and give it out to whoever, as many people as I can.
Aaron's cooking his version of a roast dinner. If I was asked to do this challenge, that's exactly what I would be doing.
It's a dish that's very close to my heart. Feeling good about it. I just hope I can get everything done.
The key thing is the cooking of the pork. He's got to make sure he caramelizes it beautiful and golden, renders the fat down, and serves it pink. But I've also seen how Aaron wants to make his roasted potatoes. Sort of crush the edges before you put it into fat. And what that does, it gives you super crispy potato edges. I hope he's serving a bowl of that.
Pork sauce, the Calvados liqueur with the trimmings of the pork, with a little touch of lemon thyme. Delicious. Like the sound of that.
28-year-old private chef Dan has stood out with his subtle use of Asian flavours.
The competition means everything to me. It's taken over my life pretty much and caused me a lot of stress. I'm in the semi-finals now. I'm over the moon, but I'm not thinking any further. I'm not looking back. This is where I'm at now. I'm just focused on today.
Dan, you made it.
Made the semi-final, yeah. Good time.
Tell me what you're doing.
Chicken and ginger broth with chicken thigh, rolled in ginger, spring onion, sesame oil. I'm doing a sweet corn puree, pickled kombu seaweed, and a black vinegar Chinese jelly, so the broth gets poured on at the end.
Why do you want to give us a chicken and sweet corn soup, Dan?
My family used to have a takeaway when I was younger. We'd sit in the kitchen, and then my auntie would just throw out all these dishes. And this is what I always had. Even a takeaway, and I get a takeaway now, I still order that.
So you went round to the takeaway. And you had a family lunch in there?
Yeah, laid out on a Sunday. It was brilliant. It was amazing.
Dan's dish sounds delicious. Normally the chicken broth has breast in it, lovely white meat, but Dan's using the thigh. Good flavour, great choice.
He's serving it with a coarse sweet corn puree. We've got charred sweet corn, crispy chicken skin for some texture, and a Chinese black vinegar jelly. And once you pour the broth on, that jelly is going to melt through and change the dynamics of this dish.
30 minutes have gone.
Wait, chef.
27-year-old self-taught sous chef John has impressed with original dishes, showcasing bold flavour combinations.
What's the memory that's inspired this dish?
When I was 12, went camping with my family along a little riverbank in the Cotswolds. Just down the river from us, there were some fishermen just fishing and pulling so many brown trout out of this river. We had a little barbecue, and they came up and they gave us one. And Anne, my stepmom, had gutted it, butterflied it, cooked it on the barbecue, and we were all eating this little brown trout they gave us.
That is fabulous. An evening with your family, cooking trout on a barbecue.
Yeah, lovely. What doesn't get better than that, does it?
John has beautiful large trout on his bench. He's going to cure it in a mix of salt and sugar and dill. Too much of this curing can over-season it, can make it too salty.
We've got a prawn oil, and he's going to be using that to coat the beautiful Jersey Royals. I've not had Jersey Royals and a prawn oil before.
I think this dish is a bit more stripped back, more classic than I'm usually cooked. Cooking this style, everything has to be bang on. If any element isn't quite right, the whole dish is going to fall apart.
Does your stepmum know you're cooking a dish inspired by...
She has no idea I'm even on the competition, and she loves MasterChef. She'll probably be crying when she sees this.
Halfway. Halfway, gentlemen.
Sweet.
Portuguese-born head chef Daniel has won praise for his inventive twists on dishes from his childhood.
Very grateful for the comments that I got on the last round. This is incredible in terms of confidence, but again, very aware that every day is a new day.
What is your dish today, please, Daniel?
Lamb with espargado, which is a puree of herbs. Traditionally, it's done either with turnip tops or spinach. Today, I'm going to use both.
What's it called?
Espargado.
Espargado?
Espargado.
Espargado.
Yes. And use those tops, blanch them, and just nicely in butter, and some Gordal olives on the top for a little bit of zing.
What's the memory that's inspired this dish?
Every now and again, I used to go on weekends to my great-grandmother. She used to go to the butcher, and she always get these lamb chops. And I didn't like lamb at the time, and I certainly didn't like anything green. But I liked to eat the lamb with the espargado. So that's a combination that always stays with me. So I'm gonna try to pull that out today.
Daniel's going to make sure he removes all the sinew off the lamb rump. Because if you leave that sinew on, once it's cooked, it can pull in and make this lamb rump tight.
Espargado, this is the centre point of this dish. Turnip tops, spinach, some cumin. I've not had it before, and I'm looking forward to it.
I think everyone here is going to bring a game, so gotta be on tiptoes all day.
You have 20 minutes left, chefs. 20 minutes.
So far in the competition, classically trained senior chef de partie Liam has impressed with his precise plates, intense flavours, and a fully focused attitude to his cooking.
At this stage in the competition, there's definitely no room for error. I find it hard to get away from my focus just before I'm about to cook, so that's why I don't smile a lot.
Liam, what's the memory that inspired your dish?
Christmas from when I was about 8. My dad bought me a live lobster. He told me to go into the fridge.
Is your dad a chef?
My dad is a chef, yeah. I said, Dad, you don't normally store an Xbox in the fridge. When I opened it, there was a polystyrene box and there was a live lobster. I jumped about 9 foot backwards, prepped it together, cooked it, we ate it. This dish is inspired by him.
Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. What's the dish?
Poached lobster tail. We've got a tempura claw, we've got a beef sauce, coriander yoghurt, we've got some caviar on there, we've got carrot puree, and like a pickled carrot salad just to freshen it up.
Does your dad know you're doing this dish inspired by him?
Yeah, he's super happy. He told me to nail it, so hopefully I can.
Liam is poaching his lobster tail, which I think is a beautiful way to do that justice. It will only take a few minutes to gently poach it. Too hot and the lobster tail will not have a nice texture. But Liam looks so focused, I don't think that's going to be an issue. Liam has made his batter and he's using it to tempura the lobster claws. He's putting it into a siphon or a cream whipper. That way it becomes very crispy.
Serving his lobster with a bisque. Got to get as much flavour out of those heads and shells as he possibly can. A good bisque is the make or break of a good lobster dish.
You have just 5 minutes. 5 minutes, please.
Everything's on track. The riskiest bit is resting the meat, making sure it comes up to the right temperature, not too raw, not too overcooked.
Yeah, perfect. That's my start plating timer.
God, the smell of lamb is superb here. Superb.
How long have we got there?
60 seconds. That's it. Time's up.
How was it? How was yours?
Yeah, no, could have been worse, could have been better.
Yeah, man, 100%.
Aaron has cooked his interpretation of his nan's Wednesday roast. Suckling pork chop, cabbage and bacon, sage-brined onion with crispy bacon, sage and onion flowers, roast potatoes, apple puree, and a pork and Calvados gravy.
I want to tell you right now, I think that is fantastic. Your pork meat is soft. There's a lovely bit of crackling on there. Lovely apple sauce, a little bit of sweet and sharpness. I even like the little bits of crispy bacon across that mild onion. It's a lovely, lovely dish.
Thank you, Greg.
The cabbage with the bacon, right amount of balance of bacon running through it. You can still taste the cabbage. And then, of course, the lovely little pot of roast potatoes. I'm really pleased there's a pot of roast potatoes on the side because everybody has a value of how many they want. In my house, my dad, you're looking at 12 to 15 at least. And my dad didn't hold back on the spuds. But overall, Aaron, that's a really good plate of food.
Thank you, Max.
Wednesday roast dinner, not in my house. Sunday.
The pork, it's beautifully cooked. It's pink. You've kept the skin nice and crispy. Delicious. And I think you've done Gran huge honour here in bringing this dish to us.
I think I did well. It's an amazing feeling. I'm really happy that the message came across and they enjoyed the food that was on the plate.
Well done, mate. Yeah, I smashed it.
Dan has made a chicken and sweet corn broth. His take on his favourite dish from his auntie's Cantonese takeaway. Sous vide chicken thigh rubbed with spring onion, ginger and sesame oil. A coarse sweet corn puree, charred sweet corn, sweet pickled seaweed, white pepper and crispy chicken skin. Finished with a chicken and ginger broth poured over black Chinese vinegar jelly.
I've got bits of chicken here that don't look cooked, I'm afraid. Can you see it? Just making me a bit nervous.
My chicken piece that I have here is cooked nicely. It's moist. I can taste the ginger. But I think it's a dish that needs to be enjoyed all together because I find the broth on its own is very strong.
Like the flavour of the broth, love the vinegar, I like the seaweed. But what you've got here is a dish that you've got to mix it up to make sure that you benefit from the flavours that are in the bowl. And it doesn't look great or appetising.
Thanks, Chef.
I'm really enjoying the flavour, but I've got raw chicken here. You can clearly see this bit here is undercooked. I'm really sorry.
Oh, I'm gutted. Semi-finals, you can't be undercooking chicken.
Just breathe. Lucky man.
That's brutal. Unacceptable at this stage of the competition. So, yeah, very deflated. Oh.
As an homage to his family camping trips, John has cooked pan-fried cured trout with langoustine tails, Jersey royal potatoes, a watercress velouté, and a buttermilk and prawn head oil.
The fish is beautifully cured and cooked. The watercress puree is full of flavour, but the potatoes, I thought you could have done a little bit more with them. They're a little bit on the bland side. The langoustines, I think the way you've prepped them, you could have done them a little bit better because you've torn the top off a couple of mine.
Your fish is perfect, crispy skin and flaky fish. But because the fish is cured, I find it still a little too salty.
The potatoes, I agree, you could have made them a bit more exciting, but I really like the flavours of the watercress, the trout and the langoustines. Nice flavours.
Feeling slightly deflated.
Well done, mate.
I was really happy with what I put up, so I wasn't quite expecting to not get the feedback that I was looking for.
Daniel is serving a sous vide lamb rump with his version of a traditional Portuguese sauce, esparregado, a puree of spinach, turnip and herbs, served with Gordel olives, turnip salad, a light velouté of turnips, and a sweet Madeira sauce.
I really want to like this, but I'm not. I don't think you cooked the lamb very well because it's a little bit tight. There's too much puree for me. It's just not refined enough. I'm not feeling the love like I have done with some of your dishes before. I'm struggling with this one. Daniel?
I have to agree, I'm afraid. This green puree just feels like a pureed spinach to me, and there's a lot of it. And with the sauce and the velouté as well, it's getting too wet.
The sauce, it is sweet because of the Madeira, and I think it works well with the amount of the puree. There are nice points here, but it's not delivering on the deliciousness that you've been bringing into the kitchen.
Today, I definitely let myself down. Could have done things a lot better. And obviously, there is a price to pay for that.
In memory of a lobster his father once bought him for a Christmas present, Liam is serving poached lobster tail sat on a pickled carrot salad with tempura claw, a carrot puree, coriander yogurt, coriander cress, caviar, with a bisque sauce split with coriander oil.
The lobster is well cooked. Lovely tempura batter, nice and crispy and crunchy on the outside. The sauce has got great colour, it's got great body, it's got great depth. A little addition of caviar on the plate always works a treat. But your carrot puree needs more flavour, and your cutting of your carrots need to be better. Detail, Liam.
It's beautifully cooked lobster. You've got coriander and flavours of carrot with a wonderfully made bisque. I think that's a good plate, Liam. Well done. I think your dad should be proud.
Thank you.
Your bisque sauce is delicious. The warmth of the brandy, it's almost sweet and creamy from all those shells. I think that is a delightful dish.
Thank you, Craig.
Liam, we're all delighted that your father actually bought you a lobster for Christmas. Can you thank him from us?
I'm buzzing with how today went.
Smashed it, absolutely smashed it. Well done, man.
I mean, Marcus picked up on a few things, but he's absolutely right. To have 2.5 of the judges love the dish was good. Flavours came through, as well as the presentation, so I'm happy on the whole.
I thought some fantastic stories, great memories, and you could feel the passion.
Some very good chefs in the kitchen here. We ate well.
But it wasn't a good day for some of them.
That's only natural when there's so much at stake and it means so much to them. But it's not over yet. We've still got another 4 chefs to see.
It's now your chance to cook, your chance to impress. What we want is one fabulous dish inspired by your favourite food memory.
1 hour and 20 minutes. Off you go.
26-year-old sous chef Ryan has shown impressive technique cooking the classics.
I want to be in that top 4, period. It needs to wow them. It needs to be memorable. It needs to stick in the judge's head. Hopefully it does that.
Ryan, what's the memory that's inspired your dish?
I was 13, I went down to Devon to visit my grandparents, and my granddad took me to a fishmonger's, and he let me pick out the fish that we were going to have that night. I picked out monkfish, he showed me how to prep it, and we cooked it together. When Granddad saw the price of what you'd picked, he might have been a little upset. Yeah, he definitely had to fork out a bit of money for that. Do you think he was hoping you picked out a couple of sardines? Yeah, a few anchovies, that'll do. So I'm guessing you're going to cook monkfish? Yes, I'm cooking monkfish tail with cocoa bean puree, lemon puree, basil oil, and salsa verde. Interesting. Does Granddad know you're doing a dish in his honour? No, he doesn't know yet. As long as I pull it off, I think he'll be really proud.
He has taken the fillets off the bone, he's wrapped them in cling film, and he's going to cook them in the steamer. He's going to cut them into slices and then quickly pan fry it so you get a little bit of crispiness. Great idea.
Ryan is making a cocoa bean puree. It's just a plain cocoa beans and water. It won't have much flavour. But it's got lardo, he's got onions, and he's got a nice stock. It needs to be cooked to a soft enough texture that when you puree it, it's going to be lovely and smooth.
Half an hour gone. Loving your stories.
Head chef Jamie has won over the judges with his attention to detail and nicely presented dishes.
I think I performed well, but I can perform better. I've got a few tricks up my sleeve. I'm going to show a little bit of flair, a little bit of excitement, so the other chef should be a bit worried.
Jamie, what's the story behind your dish, please?
So the story is quite important. It's about me and my dad foraging in the woodlands of France for truffles and ceps, also hunting, butchery. So I've gone with a kind of forest dish, woodland dish. My dad was a chef when I was younger. He kind of gave me the passion and gave me the knowledge, basically, to become a chef.
Fabulous, mate. So tell me the dish inspired by your trips to France.
A roast venison loin. I've also got a truffle potato fondant, which will melt in the middle like a chocolate fondant. I've also got cep puree, a cep tuile with a venison tartare, so quite a lot.
Jamie, the wooden bowls and the fern, is that yours?
Yeah, that's mine. I just want you guys to be immersed in the same story and the memory that I had and have a multi-sensory kind of dish.
Jamie, you got me going, mate. I can't wait.
Thank you.
There's quite a lot going on here. We've got the roasted loin of venison. We've got cep puree. We've got cep tuile that's filled with a venison tartare.
He's made a potato puree, piped it into a mould, and I think he's then going to put a soft truffle mix through the middle like you would in a chocolate fondant. Very clever.
Chefs, you're halfway.
"34-year-old Charit has won praise with bold dishes celebrating the flavours of his Sri Lankan homeland.
I think I have a different way of seeing Sri Lankan food, and I'm trying to bring that Sri Lankan food into different levels.
Charit, what's your food memory, please, chef?
When I started my career, I didn't have much experience in other cuisine. Then I had opportunity to work with some Italian chefs. Used to help them with the prep, and then they made one risotto, so it quite wowed me.
That amazes me. I would have guaranteed you were going to give me a story from Sri Lanka.
Yes, of course.
Charit's making a risotto, but he's using red rice from Sri Lanka. Charit is marinating sea bass in lime and chilli before he pan-fries it. The lime juice will start to cure the fish, so he needs to be very careful that he doesn't have it on the fish for too long.
This is Sri Lankan herbs, so it's called gotukala. Bit similar to rocket, but it's not that strong. I'm gonna make a pesto out of it.
Fabulous.
He's also got a sauce vege, works beautifully with seafood. He's adding bitter melon and Maldive dried fish through it. This sounds really interesting. I've not had a sauce veg with these ingredients. Can't wait to see how it balances out.
we have an Italian-Sri Lankan fusion.
Yeah, that's true.
As far as I can see, that style may be unique.
Yes.
You have 20 minutes left.
30-year-old sous chef Matt has earned a place in the semi-finals by producing dishes showcasing his love of foraging.
I definitely didn't enjoy the start of the competition, but I feel like I'm slowly finding my feet. I need to focus on my dish for now. If I'm happy with that and it goes up the way I want it to, hopefully that's enough to get me to the top 4.
Matt, what's the memory that's inspired this dish?
It's more of the ingredients. I didn't grow up eating foie gras and lobsters and this sort of thing. So this really comes from my first exposure into real kitchens. For me, one of the main things was set mushrooms. I love mushrooms. I go out hunting for these mushrooms when they're in season. Another thing is lobster. I still remember the first lobster ravioli I ever tasted.
So a dish inspired by you first tasting 2 fabulous ingredients, right?
Pretty much, yeah. So I'm doing lobster cooked in brown butter. I've got a Miller sweet and sour glaze for the lobster.
What's a Miller?
It's a wild herb. You get it in sort of meadows, and it's almost similar to vanilla. And then the take on a thermidor, but I didn't want to cook the lobster thermidor, so I'm going to do the potato skin thermidor. I'm going to use the claw meat through the potato mix. I'm going to have a little bit of mustard in there. Basically, I want the dish to be about lobster and about Seth.
Matt, this dish is exciting. It's intriguing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Matt's dish has been inspired by when he first ate lobster. This dish is a lobster tail, which has been poached in brown butter. But if the temperature of the poaching butter is too hot, it will become rubbery.
Normally a thermidor is where the tail goes back into the shell. He's using a baked potato, egg yolk, English mustard, and he's going to put some Gruyere cheese on top and then just glaze that with a blowtorch.
When you go in, the egg yolk comes out and just that little bit of theatre.
Lobster bisque finished with sep sounds delicious. These are 2 magical ingredients, and I'm sure they'll work together beautifully.
5 minutes left. Last 5 minutes.
Fish is almost finished colouring, and I'm ready to plate.
Just a bit worried about the rice. And just a little bit slightly overcook it.
You have a minute, just 60 seconds.
This is the tweel. It's not coming off. I'm just going to try and salvage some.
That's it. Time's up. Stop.
Oh, how'd you guys find that? Time went quite fast there.
You happy?
50-50.
It's tough.
Ryan has made pan-fried monkfish tail, cocoa bean puree, cocoa beans, basil oil, lemon puree, and crispy capers, served with a salsa verde and finished with basil leaves.
My fish is beautifully cooked. You've seared it just on one side, really enjoying the cocoa bean puree underneath. And I like that you also kept some whole on here. Otherwise, it would just be no texture. And also, there's small hints of lemon, so there's a little surprise here and there. It's a good balance. I think too much of that could overpower this plate.
Ryan, this is so working for me. I think this is delightful. I absolutely love those little bits of lemon because you've sweetened them, so it's not too sharp. Monica says too much would have spoilt it. She's probably absolutely right. I wouldn't mind a few more dots because I loved it.
The capers in the salsa verde are really making this fish sing and dance. It absolutely ticks all the boxes. It really is beautiful.
Thank you. Great comments across all 3 judges. I don't think I could have asked for much more, really.
Well done, mate. Smashed it.
Cheers, guys. I'm proud of what I did today.
In memory of foraging in France with his dad, Jamie has made roast venison loin, truffle potato fondant, cep puree, girolles, pickled blackberries, merlot and port reduction, venison jus, and a cep tuile with venison tartare.
Ah!
The dish is served with a mushroom tea poured over dry ice.
In this forest setting, you can't help but smile. You've got a nice crust on the outside of the venison. It's perfectly pink in the middle. I love, love, love the light pickling on the blackberry. And mousse-like potato, heavy with truffle, is one of the nicest things I've eaten in a long, long while.
I'll take that.
You've got the cavallonero there, you've got the churros, beautifully cooked. The cabbage has got a nice texture to it. But I have to say, the potato fondant I'm not enjoying. It's a weird texture. It's almost eggy rather than potatoey.
I really like the set puree and how that works with the cavallonero, the sweetness of the pickled berries. The venison tartare is really disappointing because it's tasteless. There are things that I love about this plate, but I think there's so much more that could have been perfected.
Yep. No, I could have done better with certain points of the dish. Glad Greg liked it. I understand why Marcus and Monica weren't too happy with it.
Right.
Tough crowd.
Yeah.
It's good.
Charit is serving a Sri Lankan Italian fusion dish. Pan-fried sea bass, spicy pesto, roasted pumpkin, Sri Lankan red rice risotto, curry leaf and chili parmesan crisps, and a bitter melon sauce vierge.
My sea bass, though it's cooked nicely, has not been seasoned. That aside, you've got bitter melon, sauce vierge flavours, a bit of tomato on the top. It's got a bit of warmth, but sauce vierge needs a bit of sharpness through a lemon juice. And I just feel the seasoning is also lacking.
The issue I have is your risotto is just stodgy. It's just too heavy. If I'm not enjoying the texture and it's taken up half the plate, I've got an issue.
You have got the flavour there, you have got the spice running through the dish, but the fish cookery and the risotto, neither of them are cooked well. And the Parmesan crisp isn't crisp, it's bendy. The execution of your dish just isn't quite right and it doesn't hit the mark.
I think I pretty much had a bad day today. This I will take as a wake-up call.
Oh, no, mate.
I didn't want to come back and cook again. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be here tomorrow.
Matt has cooked a lobster tail in brown butter with sweet and sour melilot herb gel. Sepp's Sepp Bisque, thermidor potato skin filled with an egg yolk and topped with a 3-cornered leek.
Ah, look at that.
The lobster tail is beautifully cooked in the brown butter. I'm just loving this baked potato thermidor. I completely forgot that you put an egg yolk in the middle of it, so the surprise I had when I cut into it was absolutely fantastic. The melilot gel has a great texture. I really, really like this dish.
Thank you very much.
That Sepp Bisque is stunning. It's got, like, sweetness and then really almost beefy, and I love it. I could drink that. However, we have got flavours on here that are so powerful, it's difficult for the lobster to compete with them.
Matt, I'm loving this potato. You look at it and you're wondering why it's there until you cut into it. Genius. You have floral notes over the lobster from the elderflower, and, it doesn't overpower it. I like it. I've really enjoyed this. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm trying to do something different. I'm trying to carve my own sort of way and bring my own flavours and not be generic.
Well done, man. Better than you thought, eh?
It's amazing, amazing feedback.
I always get very nervous when we see all our chefs together cooking in the kitchen, but I was very pleased with what they did today. Some good stories, some great food, and we've got a lot to discuss.
If it's going to be the dish that I'd really like to eat again, I think it would be the roast dinner from Aaron.
That's on the top of my list, too.
Aaron's Wednesday roast dinner was definitely in my top 3.
It had elegant points of difference that took it beyond just the roast dinner.
I've got a chef who I think should go through, and that's Ryan.
I thought Ryan's monkfish was absolutely superb.
Brilliant plate of food. Did it justice to his granddad's memory.
There are a couple of chefs who actually disappointed. Dan's broth I quite liked, but my chicken thighs weren't cooked. He's got to come back and cook again. Look, there's one other dish that was ill-conceived, and that was charrots.
The risotto wasn't very good. It was just a pulp of rice. And I didn't think the fish was well cooked either.
Yeah, it's a shame, but Charrot does have to cook again. Another chef is Daniel. I've loved his food throughout, but today he didn't deliver. The lamb, for me, mine wasn't cooked very well.
I like the sweetness of the turnip, but I wasn't a fan of the sauce at all.
I think Daniel will understand that he has to cook again. We have 4 more to discuss. Liam, Matt, John and Jamie. 2 of them have to cook again.
I liked Liam's lobster dish. I liked the tempura clawed, crunchy, with a little puree sitting on top. I had a bit of an issue with the cutting of his carrots.
He missed a few points, but I thought overall it was a good dish from Liam.
I have to say, Jamie's dish, I can live with the theatre of it. I don't mind that at all.
What I didn't like is that tube with the tasteless raw venison. It was just nothing to it. Why?
Look, I know you guys found fault with it, but I loved it. I really enjoyed those flavours, and he put a lot of work into that.
John's dish, I thought was really interesting. I thought the fish cookery was excellent.
I liked the fish cookery, but it was too salty. It moved it away from excellent.
I felt he could have done a bit more with the potatoes, but nice flavours on the plate here.
Matt's lobster dish was extraordinary, but I still believe he kind of drowned the lobster in bigger flavours there.
I enjoyed the dish, and I thought the surprise of the egg yolk was brilliant.
Now that we've discussed it, I think I know who deserves to go through.
I know who I'd like to see cook again.
The problem here is, of course, I don't necessarily agree with the pair of you.
That would be the first time.
Four chefs going straight through, 5 remaining here to cook again. Ryan. Aaron. You are going straight through to the next round. Off you go. Fantastic.
Oh, what a relief.
It turned out nicely, man.
It must have done.
The next chef going straight through to the next round is...
Who's going to come through that door?
Matt. Congratulations, chef.
Yes, man.
I didn't think that was going to happen.
Yeah, nice one, mate. Wicked.
This is tense, isn't it? The 4th and final chef going straight through is... Liam. Congratulations.
Yes.
That was horrible.
Ah, man.
Just a bit squeaky bum time at the end there, but made it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Nice one, boys.
Yeah, buzzing, buzzing.
We know you must be a little bit disheartened, but you've got to lift your shoulders, lift the spirit, get your cooking head back on and focus on one stunning plate of food.
As chefs, I know you are used to using up everything in your kitchen. Nothing goes to waste. Behind us are all the leftovers from the last challenge. Everything that you need to make us one fabulous plate of food. We are going to give you 1 hour and 15 minutes to cook the dish, but first, we're going to give you 15 minutes to come and choose your ingredients.
At the end of this, one of you is going to be leaving the competition.
Up you come.
This is definitely the most daunting one so far. Yeah, feeling less confident with this than I was with the others.
I think it'll be interesting. Once I get my mind going and figure out what I'm doing, I think I'll be good to go.
This was like a wake-up call for me. It is sticking to more Sri Lankan. I'm going to kind of stick into my real fashion.
Right, chefs, time's up. 1 hour and 15 minutes. Let's go.
John, at the end of the last round, you looked really disappointed, quite down.
I wasn't quite expecting the comments I got, but yeah, it was something to learn from, something to use going forward.
You got a lot of good ingredients on your bench. What's your dish?
I'm cooking that brilliant pork, serving that with a potato risotto. So I've got diced potatoes, and I'm going to cook them like a risotto in stock, loads of butter, parmesan.
Potato risotto. Interesting. I've had a couple in here before, but I don't think I've had a really, really good one.
First time for everything.
I hope so.
We want the potato risotto to be rich and creamy.
It's an interesting idea, but there is an element of risk with it. It could break down and become like a puree. Potato has to be cooked just right.
I'm hoping he'll do a bit more to the pork rather than just cutting it out and serving it. I want to see a bit more thought going into the use of this pork.
20 minutes gone. Come on.
Wait.
Dan, how are you feeling with the challenge?
It's difficult. In previous rounds, very similar to this, I've kind of struggled. So I kind of had to think, what do I know? What do I enjoy? And that's what I kind of gone for today. I've still gone a bit risky for this stage of the competition, but like I thought, all or nothing.
Why risky? What are you doing?
I'm doing a fried rice. So nasi goreng, Indonesian-style fried rice.
Nasi goreng is a lovely dish, but not particularly elegant. So what are you going to do to it to make it MasterChef smart?
I like to put tomatoes through my nasi goreng. I've cured them in a bit of salt and sugar and a bit of chive oil through that as well. Instead of a fried egg on top, I've done egg yolk that I've confit and sesame oil. I'm doing a crispy shallot, bit of chilli for a bit of heat.
You know, Dan, I think this is the first time someone's attempted to refine a nasi goreng here in this kitchen. You got to nail it.
Thank you, Chef.
Dan is going to confit the egg yolk, which means he's going to gently cook it in oil. In this case, he's using sesame oil, which makes complete sense because it's just the flavours that you will expect in this dish.
But this dish, there's nowhere to hide. Elevating Indonesian bowl food in this stage of the competition is without doubt a very, very risky thing to do.
You have 30 minutes left. That's a big 30 minutes.
It's exciting, eh? I am doing a poached lobster claw with some monkfish tail. I'm making a lemon marmalade for some citrus, a little bit of acidity, and I'm also doing a horseradish bisque.
Is there enough shells on that bench for you to make a good bisque?
There was a few claws, but there wasn't much, so it won't be very strong.
Risky?
Yeah, I agree.
Ooh.
I like the addition of the lemon marmalade, but it's got to be a balance of the sharpness, the sweetness, and, of course, the flavours of the bisque.
A good bisque is all about the lobster heads or the Longenstein heads, and there are none. So I have to question why. Daniel's dish is all about using leftover fish, and he's turned that into a Scotch egg.
He's going to wrap the leftover fish around his cooked egg and then deep fry it.
He's serving this with a romesco sauce made with peppers, tomatoes, and smoked paprika.
This is a sauce that could have so much punch, but he's missed on the flavours in the last round. He's going to bring that back in, and he's really going to present something that looks beautiful and tastes as good.
Daniel, how did you feel about the feedback from your last dish?
Terrible, but very accurate. Hopefully this round is going to go well. I just want to make the best out of this opportunity.
And I see you've made a little tester here.
Yes.
You look like you've done it before.
I haven't done them in a long, long time, probably 5 years. It's terrified.
You have 15 minutes left.
I'm quite used to use all the leftover ingredients. So when I went to the bench, I saw this pumpkin, so I thought I'm gonna make pumpkin curry with soft-boiled egg, roasted devil potato. It's like a roasted spicy potato. And then I'm gonna serve with the cucumber and tomato salad. You're using some couscous as well.
No one in this kitchen is ready to go home yet.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. But I'm not ready as well because I got a lot of things to prove yet. So yeah, I'm gonna be fighting for today.
Charit's back in the kitchen with a smile on his face.
He's making a pumpkin curry with soft-boiled egg. He's going to serve that with a deviled roast potato. I'm looking forward to a little bit of that traditional cookery that we love about Charit.
You have 5 minutes, please, chefs.
Sweet. Happy with the risotto. It's got a nice little bite to it. Feeling pretty happy.
Time will tell.
No dry ice?
No dry ice, no trees, no bowls, no.
Just food on a plate?
Just food on a plate, yeah.
I am happy with those. If they were not right, that's 100% game over.
I hope they're gonna like it. We'll see. We can find out soon.
Final touches. Time's up. Stop.
John is serving roast rack of pork on a potato risotto with chestnuts and confit garlic, lightly pickled radishes, grilled onions, ceps, girolles, and micro herbs.
I absolutely love the potato risotto. You've got the balance just right. Beautifully cut vegetables, you've got lovely stock running through it, you've got the mushrooms, the cep, and the herbs that you put on top of the dish. It's really clever, it's skillful. I like everything about this, apart from the lazy pork chops on top. You just warmed it up and cut it into chops. What you should have done is taken the pork off the bone, made some little balls, maybe deep fry them, moisten them up, flavour them up. You should have done more, but I like the dish.
It's a shame about the way the pork was used. Wish you were brave enough to just focus on this potato risotto, because that's delightful.
Thank you.
This risotto is really good. It's a clever idea. Most certainly good flavours. Far nicer to eat than it is to look at.
The pork chop might cost me. Just cooking the risotto really beautifully would have been the smart thing to do. But hindsight's a wonderful thing.
Dan has made his version of a nasi goreng, an Indonesian fried rice dish flavoured with sweet soy sauce. Topped with an egg yolk confit in sesame oil, and served with cured tomatoes, compressed cucumber, crispy shallots, and pickled radishes.
It's not easy to take such a humble common dish and make it smart. I think your presentation here is lovely. The rice itself is beautifully cooked and really beautifully flavoured. Salty and a bit sweet, I like. But there's so much juice in a tomato, so much juice in a cucumber, that I'm just not sure with fried rice.
The tomatoes I'm unsure about, but the rice is absolutely delicious. I love the saltiness of the soy. I like the confit egg. It's beautifully cooked, but I would have liked just a little bit more of the flavour of the oil running around this dish. You could have taken the dish just a little bit further.
I like the bite of the little vegetables that you've diced. And I'm enjoying the tomato and the salty cucumber. Otherwise, it's just a dry rice dish. I love the yolk on the top because it was like a sauce. And, of course, the crispy shallots. I'm enjoying it. And well done to you.
Thank you, Chef.
I feel I've done the best I could. Don't know how I'm going to pull off a fried rice, but I thought that's what I'm going with, all or nothing.
They're happy with it.
Yeah, it could have gone worse, a lot worse. No raw chicken.
From his chosen leftovers, Jamie has made a poached lobster claw with poached monkfish tail, served with confit root vegetables, pickled radishes, crispy anchovies, lemon marmalade, finished with a horseradish and langoustine bisque.
The leftover lobster claw and the monkfish tail. The texture of it is lovely. It's holding, it's not over poached. The sauce, I love horseradish, but I find it's very thick. And I'm wanting a sauce that's going to coat everything.
The fish, the bisque, the lemon marmalade, I'm really, really enjoying. But a big pile of confit vegetables, I think it's just a little too much.
The bisque does lack the flavour of the shellfish, but you've counteracted that with the horseradish. The lemon marmalade on the plate is zingy and bitter and sweet and sour and really, really nice, but they don't work together, unfortunately. You wouldn't put horseradish on top of your marmalade on toast. And unfortunately, it doesn't work on this dish.
Yeah. There was good comments and there was a few bad comments. I might have tried to go a little bit too out there.
Well done, mate.
Thank you. Could have gone a lot worse.
Daniel has made trout, prawn and sea bass Scotch eggs, mixed with chili paste and served with romesco sauce, cabbage and a tomato salsa.
Daniel, out of a bench of scraps, I'm really impressed.
The egg is beautifully cooked. The fish around the outside, beautifully seasoned. The Scotch egg, great, beautifully made, but the romesco, it lacks that smoky flavour that a romesco sauce has, which is such a shame.
Lovely seasoned fish, and that cabbage is a nest for the egg to sit on, but it's also a very welcome texture in an otherwise wet dish. I think that's lovely.
I love the way you've bound it with the leftover trout and the prawns, but I just miss that warmth in the romesco.
There is positive in that, but I don't know if that's enough to go through today. Let's hope it is.
Charit has made a pumpkin curry, devil roasted potatoes, couscous, and a cucumber and tomato salad, served with a soft boiled egg.
Mmm.
Do you know what? I wouldn't think I was eating scraps. The pumpkin is beautifully cooked. The potato's got amazing flavour to it with the onion wrapped around it. The sauce is knockout, got great flavour. Love the couscous. Great job.
Thanks, Chef.
Those potatoes are a knockout. If you wanted to market your own snack to have with beer, that's it.
The egg with the pumpkin curry, such a heat through that sauce, loving it together. The couscous, beautifully seasoned. My word, all I can say is welcome back, Charit, we missed you.
I did a lot of mistakes in the last round.
Nice job. Well done, man.
Thanks.
Smashed it.
I think I correct those mistakes. And I'm back in the race now, I think.
The quality of the dishes today, when you consider they had no chance to practice, all we gave them was leftovers, I think it was extraordinary. There was one chef that cooked to his strengths, cooked food that he believed in. We all loved Charit's dish.
Chef of the day today, Charit.
The other four? I don't know. John gave us the potato risotto. It was creamy, rich, it was thick. I thought it was a good dish.
I just thought the pork chop was just a little bit lazy. Everything else was great.
Daniel, perfectly poached eggs, fish meat round the outside of it, and a really light crumbing. Lovely.
But I do feel that his romesco soup didn't have the flavours I was hoping for.
What do you make of Dan and his nasi goreng? I couldn't keep my spoon out of that rice, but all that natural juice running into a rice dish, that just didn't work for me.
I liked the salty cucumber and the tomatoes. I really enjoyed it.
Hey.
Yeah.
Tomatoes I found unusual, but I love the concept of the egg. I just wanted more of it.
I really enjoyed Jamie's piece of monkfish and his lobster.
The bisque, I really loved the horseradish, but I didn't like the texture of the sauce.
Bit too thick?
Yeah, it was very thick for a bisque.
I didn't feel that the two key points of this dish, which was the lemon marmalade and the horseradish, the combinations didn't work together.
We know Charrot's going straight through. The other four, for one of them now, their MasterChef career is over.
I think I've got more to show and I really want to be able to continue and cook some more and sort of redeem myself.
No shame in going home today, but despite the unlimited stress and pressure, it is a good feeling to be here.
Don't want this to be the end of the competition for me. I'm glad they said the judging's going to be hard.
I'm very aware that this could be the end of it. So that's present in my mind big time.
This has been an incredible cook-off today. We really do know how much this means to you. The chef leaving the competition is... Jamie.
Thank you. Good luck, guys.
Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you.
You've had a brilliant competition, Chef.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Semi-finals, and it's the small mistakes that cost the most. I've really enjoyed the experience. The pressure's been high, but I've had a lot of fun.
Well done, you four. You live to fight another day.
Physically exhausting, plenty of highs, plenty of lows, feeling really drained now. It's been hard.
I'm feeling happy right now, despite being exhausted. I'm never going to do anything like this again.
Now I'm in the final 8. I'm feeling really great. Then I need to be in the final 6.
Going forward, definitely, no mistakes. I'm happy. Things went better today.
Next time, the semi-finals continue, and the contestants are being split into 2 groups. The first 4 will compete outside the MasterChef kitchen for the first time.
I've got a lot to do, I'm running behind.
I'm just gonna have to pull my finger out.
Before returning to fight for their place in the finals.
It's really clever and yummy.